Any chance of proper education for the children of Hagahai and introduction to the world outside their immediate environment is far remote at this stage. If anything points towards some form of learning, it's a pidgin school initiated by people outside government about 3 years ago. The teacher at this stage is a Peace Corps volunteer, Katrine Koke. Katrine has been in Hagahai for 8 months. Peace Corps requires Katrine to teach only, but she sometimes acts as an aid-post orderly when there is no government medical worker. Katrine just can't press lessons on 6 students. Her students range from 6 to 40 years old. It's a bold initiative to introduce some form of literacy. There are also the drawbacks.
The people here are a hunter-gatherer type tribe, so it's very difficult to get anyone to come on a regular basis. I have problems all the time having them come for 1 day and then they disappear for 2 weeks.
Catherine has at least one female regular student. She is Chiboria, about 16 years old. Her mother, Maura, not only encourages her to go to school, but other mothers to send their daughters to the pidgin classes. That's rather rare. Young girls don't attend the pidgin classes, nor do their parents encourage them. But Catherine is hopeful of something good in Chiboria so that others can change their minds and attend the pidgin classes.
There's plenty of the younger women who are married already, who haven't done any schooling. The parents tend to send the kids to school, but the older ones who are married, who haven't had any schooling, if I can get them to come in too, I definitely encourage that. So even if they just come once, just to get the experience that this is a good something, and maybe they won't come to school, but maybe in the future their children will come to school. They'll think it's a good idea.
Quite the opposite in educational approach is Silua, aged about 9. He's even asked to go to school, a proper school in Goroka. Here is one Haggai boy who wants an education and is prepared to venture beyond his perimeters to get it. This is not possible at this stage. There are hopes, though, that a proper school can be established within Hagahai.
I think it all depends. I think it depends mostly on whether or not these people start some kind of economic development which gets them to, makes it a necessity for them to learn English. And if that happens, then a community school is necessary, definitely. A community school in English with the government curriculum. I think there could be a community school here in Pidgin. I think that would be great. I think everyone here would support it, and I think they would love it.
Whether it's finance, politics, or simple rationale, the Madang provincial government of Premier Andrew Ariako does not see Hagahai getting a proper school yet. Not soon.
In the 1993 budget, provide additional funds to ensure that the airstrip is completed. And we'll consider other services later on. But the other government services will follow, as far as education is concerned. There may not be enough kids to enable full community schools to be started, but at least we start some form of education there and other government services later.
This is Mali and Brian Jenkins. Both are 8'7" and were born on the same day. Brian is Dr. Carol Jenkins' son. She has taken Brian to Hagahai often on many of her trips. Mali and Brian have become good friends, yet they are far apart when it comes to learning. Dr. Jenkins wants all the children of Hagahai to have an equal opportunity in education, but it's impossible at this stage. Many of the young Hagahais are beginning to learn Pidgin from Catherine's classes. Some men can already speak and understand Pidgin through regular contacts with Dr. Jenkins. Sabu is one of only a few Hagahai men who ventured outside the borders to Western Highlands and Eastern Highlands. He can understand and speak Pidgin very well. On September 1992, 12 Hagahai men decided to break their isolation. They decided to show and tell the rest of Papua New Guinea their existence. With the help of Dr. Jenkins and Katrine, they walked 4 days from Hagahai to the nearest airstrip and flew on to Mount Hagen. For many in the team, they had only known their own environment. The journey outside their village was quite an experience. The men arrived in Mount Hagen and later drove down the Okuk Highway to attend the Goroka show. Everything about the trip was new to them. They'd never flown in a plane before, nor a ride in a vehicle on a bitumen road. They stopped at Kuchub Hospital to see Kwaikwaka, who'd burnt a hand before proceeding on to Goroka. It was a reunion they did not expect, and for Kwaikwaka, she was relieved to see them. Everything they had done and saw were all first experiences. They themselves were also first wherever they stopped. In Goroka, they performed one of their unseen traditional dances at the Bird of Paradise Hotel for tourists and the media. The Hagahais set the pace then for the Goroka cultural show. At the showground, the 12 Hagahai men won the praise of both showgoers as well as Miss Meg Taylor, who had opened the 1992 biannual Goroka show. Miss Taylor, who is Papua New Guinea's ambassador to the United States and Canada, has visited the Hagahai, and since 1993 is the year of the indigenous people, she is working to help preserve the Hagahai's natural environment.
There are other things that live in the forest that can be, if we use them sustainably, that means we don't exploit them, so that the communities can live off them and sell the surplus. Then there's money coming into communities all over the country. But we've started off with one project, and if we can, we hope to extend it to 2 other areas. And this is how I see the role of the foreign affairs. I mean, we're in a wealthy country that has expertise, has money, has knowledge in these areas, and then what we want to do is put them with village communities so that participation comes from the village level, and mobilising resources is an important role of what an ambassador should be doing.
Assisting the people with sustainable cash crops is another project she's looking into. Organic coffee growing looks promising, since there's some coffee already growing left behind by the Baptist Union.
Been making investigations in the United States to explore the organic coffee market, because at the moment the only other country that's been promoting it and not well is Mexico. And Papua New Guinea has the attraction is that it's exotic, it's remote, and it's small communities of people in a very sort of forgotten land that is growing this exotic coffee, that it's all pure.
During their stay in Goroka, the 12 Hagahai men also were shown developments of interest. A guided trip to a nearby coffee plantation was both amazing and educational. They were shown how to plant coffee, care for them, cherry picking, and how the cherries are processed at the end. The excursion may have been just a little bit too sophisticated for some of them.